So here's how we can paint using Texture Paint in Blender a sand texture. So first thing we want to do, as always when we are painting Minecraft style pixelated images, we want to set up our cube so that we can preview our painting as we are working on it. So if we go into material properties, we've got our default material that's automatically assigned to our primitive object. If one wasn't assigned, so let's just remove that, we can click on the plus button and or the new button. The plus button will drop in an instance that's not populated. The new button will drop in an instance that is populated with a set of properties. But as we have a pre-assigned material, we'll use that. So let's just rename this. Click, rename sand, access the preview. We can change its color for now if we want. And obviously we want to be in material preview so that we can see the material as we are working on it. So that's our material color. Next we want to be in shading workspace. So shading workspace, and we're going to just complete this material, this very basic material, by dropping in add texture, image texture. So add texture, image texture. Link those two up, so color to base color, and then we'll create our new image. Let's just zoom in a little bit. We'll create our new image, which will be our pixel image. Call this sand, so click type sand. Then its size is 16 by 16 pixels. That's okay for the size. Generated type, we want to put in a temporary image, so color grid, then OK, and that will show on our cube, and it's slightly blurry at the moment because it is 16 pixels by 16 pixels, so we want to change, whilst we are here, the interpolation mode. At the moment it's linear, and if we watch what happens to the image, we're going to change that to closest, and it'll pixelate and essentially clear up. So that's our basic material. Don't need to do anything else to it. But next we want to go into UV editing workspace, and we need to sort out the UV editing for our cube. So it'll automatically switch us into edit mode, but not preview mode. So we want to be in preview. So click, drag, middle mouse button, preview, scroll in. So there's our cube, the texture. So we've got our preview in the 3D view and the UV editor, which is our little tiny 16 by 16 pixel image. So we need to redo the UV map, and the quickest way of doing this is just making sure that, let's just move this back, so click, drag, select all, and then from the UV menu in the 3D view, we want UV reset. And this will reset all the faces one to one with our texture. So UV reset, and that's reset everything one to one with our image. And now that we've got that, we can switch to Texture Paint. There's our image again. Scroll in. There's our cube again. We want to make sure that we are in material preview for this, not solid mode, so we can see our image more clearly. And then all we do is change the radius of our brush and change the color. So let's change this to 1 pixel and then select a color. So we'll click on the color sample box and then change the color to something that looks kind of sandy. There we go, and just paint over our texture. And then as we do that, we can see it updating on our image. And of course, we just keep selecting colors and just painting those until we're happy with our sand color. So we don't need to be too precise with this because we are 16 pixels by 16 pixels. So let's select this salmon color here. So click on the color sample, then on the picker, the eyedropper, and then we can click on that and it'll change the color to that color that was selected. Then we can paint that onto our image as well. This is a little yellow. And whilst we're doing this, what we can also do, because these are textures that will tile, they'll repeat, so what we can also do is view sidebar. So view sidebar, and then in view enable, so click the checkbox, repeat image, and that will repeat our image and it'll highlight areas where we've got tiling or pattern repetition. So we've got our texture in the center defined by this outline. So all we need to do is just keep painting and kind of hiding or obfuscating those tiling artifacts, and we can see that as we paint, it's changing the way that our image appears in the tiling. So we'll just keep doing this until we're happy with what we've got. So that will be, let's try and break, so there's a little bit of, so it's this area, and we'll just try and break that and then we'll call it done. But we also obviously have to be careful not to introduce too much oddness to our image that causes pattern repetition again. So that still got a little bit of repetition. So is it, which corner is it? This corner. So we'll call that our sand texture. It's a bit bright, but if we wanted to, what we've got now is an image. So let's disable repeat image. What we've got is an image that we can now save. So note the asterisk after the word image. We can save this, save as, so image, save as. Browse to our save location, and we'll call this sand. As a PNG, disable compression or turn it off. We want to be dealing with as much raw data as we can, or just change the file format to one that's not using as much compression. So Targa Raw is typical, or BMP, bitmap, or TIFF. And these can be opened in an image editor, should we want to edit the image further. So save as, and that is our sand texture. And of course, all we need to do is layout, object duplicate, Shift D, and then we've got our blocks, so Shift D, that we can use to lay out a surface from sand. So there we go, painting Minecraft style sand texture using Blender's texture paint.